abandoned its attempt to capture the capital, while its offensive on all fronts but the Donbass axis has stalled. Kherson in the south of Ukraine is the only major city Russia had been able to take under its full control before May. Both sides have suffered significant casualties, but Ukraine does not intend to stop its resistance and roll over, while the Russian government understands that giving up on their so-called special military operation without achieving almost anything could be a deadly blow it might fail to recover from. In this third video on the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we're going to describe the military operations and events which took place in May 2022. As we learn about current day struggles, you might feel like making the world a better place. We've got an easy way to do that with our sponsor, Donetica. It's a new search engine that seeks to benefit humanity by revenue sharing with a variety of non-profit organizations all over the world, focusing on health, welfare, charity and ecology. Like other search engines, they have sponsored results, ads, but the difference is 30% of the ad revenue goes to these good causes. And of course you still get the same search functionality you would somewhere else, so it's no loss to you. Their team carefully picks organizations to support like Greenpeace, Variety, Doctors Without Borders and UNICEF. And all donations will be publicly displayed on their website, so you can see the actual amounts involved with nothing to hide. Make it easy by using their search extension, or make Donetica your default search engine, and get started turning your usual internet activity into a force for good around the world. Check it all out using our link in the description to support our channel, and dedicate your internet searches to a noble cause today. On the first day of May, the sources reported the start of the process of transition to the Russian ruble in occupied Melitopol, Volnovakha and Kherson. Along with mentions of a referendum in Kherson Oblast, this became yet another indicator that Russia is planning a transition to administer some of the territories it has already captured as part of Russia, or as another puppet state. On May 2nd, Russia hit a strategically important bridge across the Dniester estuary, which is the only road and rail link between a large section of the Odessa region and the rest of Ukraine. Such missile strikes aimed to destroy the transportation infrastructure of Ukraine and create logistical difficulties for the Ukrainian army. On the same day, Ukraine sank 2 Russian Raptor patrol boats near Zmyny Island, as Ukraine continued its attempts to regain control over this small island with an aim to deblockade the Ukrainian-controlled parts of the Black Sea shore, which is crucial for Ukrainian exports, including grain. Also on May 2nd, reports of another Ukrainian counter-offensive in the Kharkiv Oblast emerged. Earlier in April, the Ukrainian forces managed to push back the Russian units further away from the city of Kharkiv. Throughout the first few days of May, Ukraine liberated several unspecified towns along the T-2014 highway between Kharkiv and Stary Soltiv, where the 92nd Mechanized Brigade and the 127th Infantry Brigade pushed back the Russian 61st Separate Naval Infantry Brigade. Ukraine also regained Serkany thanks to the efforts of the 113th Territorial Defense Brigade and most of Cherkasky-Tushki by the 3rd Special Purpose Regiment, in both of the latter cases defeating the 437th Motorized Rifle Regiment. The Ukrainian counter-offensive in this area aimed to force the Russian command to commit more forces to the Kharkiv Oblast and relieve some of the pressure on the Donbass front, and particularly on the Izium axis, as that counter-offensive put the Russian logistics and transport hubs in Kupiansk and Vovchansk in danger. Ukraine also wanted to push the Russians away from within artillery strike distance of the city of Kharkiv. Meanwhile, the Battle of Mariupol continued, and on May 4th, the Russian troops entered the Azovstal steel plant complex for the first time. A few hundred Ukrainian defenders were still there at the time, continuing their doomed but defiant resistance. We will talk about the Battle of Mariupol in more detail in the coming months, when more information becomes available. The Russian bombing campaign continued in early May, with the main purpose of this airstrike campaign being to slow down the arms delivery to the Ukrainian army fighting in the east and south of the country. It is difficult to ascertain if the campaign is successful. The Russian aircraft almost never enter air over land controlled by the Ukrainians, fearing anti-air guns, so almost every air and missile strike is made from extreme distances, and the Russian lack of precision missiles is well known. On May 4th, Russia intensified its attacks in the east, but failed to make any notable gains, apart from the 15th Separate Guards Rifle Motor Brigade, pushing the 79th Air Assault Brigade south of Yampil towards Ozerna. Elsewhere, the 81st Air Assault Brigade defeated yet another attempt on Brest-Kivka by the 27th Separate Guards Rifle Motor Brigade. The 57th Motorized Brigade prevented the 30th Separate Motor Rifle Brigade from making a breakthrough in Yaremivka, while the 95th Air Assault Brigade maintained its positions in Liman against the offensive of the 74th Separate Guards Rifle Motor Brigade. On May 6th and 7th, Ukraine launched several airstrikes on the Russian military equipment on Zmyny Island, destroying the Cerner-class landing craft, 2 Tor surface-to-air missile systems, and a helicopter. The Russian Defense Ministry claimed that the Ukrainian attack on the island was defeated, in the process of which 4 aircraft, 10 helicopters, 29 drones, and 3 armored assault crafts were destroyed. These numbers are too high to believe their credibility, and the Russians failed to present any proof. However, it is clear that Russia maintained its control over the island. In the first week of May, Russia continued its attempts to break through around the Severodonetsk salient. On May 7th, Russia completed the capture of Popasna, with the infamous far-right Wagner mercenary group spearheading the effort. But the Ukrainian forces withstood Russian attacks in other directions. The same is true for the Zaporizhia front, where the artillery battles continued without any notable change on the battlefield. In the south, the Ukrainian command reported the liberation of 4 unspecified towns around Snehirivka, north of Kherson, as the 80th Air Assault Brigade continued putting pressure on the Russian forces in the region. The notable partisan activity in the south of Ukraine, particularly Kherson and Melitopol, continued. On May 5th, an explosion happened at the Melitopol airport. One of the most decisive battles so far in the war started on May 8th, as Russian forces started their attempt to cross the Seversky Donets River at Belahorivka using several pontoon bridges, aiming to surround the Lysychansk-Severodonetsk agglomeration from the south. We'll talk in a bit about what happened in the next few days in Belahorivka. Meanwhile, on May 9th, the day Russia celebrates victory over Nazi Germany in World War II, all eyes were on Moscow, which was hosting its annual military parade and celebrations. Some were expecting Putin to announce general mobilization or formally declare war on Ukraine. But none of this happened, as Putin merely repeated his usual rhetoric on the importance of the so-called special military operation to protect the people of Donbass. Between May 7th and 9th, Ukraine continued its advance in the Kharkiv Oblast, as the 92nd Mechanized Brigade and 127th Territorial Defense Brigade liberated Bayrak, Rubizhne, and Tenovo, reaching the border with Russia. But it was not all positive for the Ukrainian army, as it suffered setbacks by losing Velika Komishivaka in the Izium Axis to the 5th Separate Guards Tank Brigade, as well as Nizhny to the 127th Motor Rifle Division, which advanced on Toshkivka and pushed back the 111th Territorial Defense Unit on the Donbass front. But arguably the single biggest disaster faced by the Russian army on this front took place on May 10th, in the aforementioned Belahorivka. The Ukrainian drones managed to spot the location of the pontoon bridge, which 1 or 2 BTGs of the Russian army were crossing at the time. The artillery of the Ukrainian 17th Tank Brigade fired a massive artillery barrage on the bridge and on tightly gathered Russian vehicles and personnel. The Ukrainian army claimed to destroy 30 Russian vehicles and disable another 40, which the recent images and videos confirmed, along with killing 485 soldiers. Military analysts assess this event not only as the destruction of 1 or 2 BTGs, but as an entire brigade losing a significant portion of its firepower. On May 11th to 13th, Ukraine continued its counter-offensive in the Kharkiv Oblast, forcing Russia to redeploy 3 to 4 BTGs from the Izium Axis to Kupiansk and Vovchansk to protect against the Ukrainian eastward movements towards key logistical lines.